massive jams are building up on roads throughout the country. The Metropolitan Police advise drivers to delay their homeward journeys for as long as possible to help stop further congestion. And now news from other world capitals. New York is still without electric power, 24 hours after the breakdown. It is estimated that half the city's workforce are affected, and the governor has declared a state of emergency. Sources in both Rome and Paris report growing concern amongst the medical authorities about the rapid spread of the virus.
Andrew!
Jenny, what are you doing here?
I went to Dr. Weston's surgery. They said he was here. Pat's sick.
Oh, no.
I think she's very ill.
Well, I'm sorry, love, but you're not going to get anybody to come out and see her tonight.
But she really is bad. Fever, and she's got sort of lumps under her arms. She really does need a doctor.
Now, look, Jen. I mean, we're snowed under here. I mean, we're so understaffed, we've had to stop admitting new patients. But, I mean, you can see there's not a bed in the place.
You're turning people away.
Yes, and as far as I know, she's saving all the other hospitals. I mean, our people are going down with it as fast as the patients. Most of the GPs in the district have had to come into work in the wards.
Well, how long does the attack last? I mean, flu isn't
It is
really...
not flu. Oh, yeah, we're giving people jabs. Well, we might as well squirt water into them for all the good it's doing. Well, the Home Secretary has orders to keep up the fiction. Try and stop a panic.
Panic? I know there have been some deaths. I heard it on the radio, but not enough to cause a panic.
It's been played down. I mean, we've had 70 deaths.
70?
It could be double or treble that number by the morning. We took in our first cases about 6 days ago. That seems to be the time it takes for infection. About 6 days.
All right, what's going on?
Just let me think about where to start.
Well, he saw something. What is it?
I saw a virus. I think some kind of disease.
A virus? Like what? Like SARS?
I don't know. All I know is that it's highly infectious and it may be fatal. Right now, we could all be infected. If we take this outside, we risk the whole town.
Johnny, how big is this gonna get?
I don't know. We just have to do everything we can to stop this, starting right now, Walt.
He's right. All right, here's what's gonna happen. We need to make sure that everybody that's inside stays inside. I'm gonna get a few deputies on it. We'll call it a lockdown.
Lockdown?
Well,
good evening. The government has published a detailed plan for what would happen in the event of a widespread outbreak of coronavirus.
Maybe we should wear masks. What difference does it make? According to you, we've already been exposed. Let's get one thing straight, Mr. Smith. I'm responding to political pressure.
And it's consistent with the science. Once a virus has taken hold in a population, it doesn't just go away until enough people have been exposed to the disease to acquire immunity or a vaccine turns up. So when the lockdown ends, whenever that is, the virus will still be there waiting for us.
Indeed. And so right at the beginning of this interview, when you said that there's a lack of purpose, the purpose right now for the government is to keep the infection rate down to levels that the NHS can cope with. And we are at a point where by the end of April, there were 50,000 excess deaths in this country, of which about 36,000 were directly related to COVID-19. It's a bit difficult to know what the cause of the other excess deaths were. But the evidence is clear, isn't it, that this virus has taken a terrible toll on the population?
No, the evidence is not clear to that effect.
You have no reason to be scared. Let me ask you something, Amy. Animals. You've been around any animals in the backyard, even, let's say, a skunk, a raccoon? I'm going to swab the inside of your mouth with this little Q-tip.
Who is in the appropriate PPE wear. Nice to see you, doctor. You make that gown look good.
Head up a little bit.
Head up.
Close your eyes.
Close my eyes. Okay. Why do I need to close my eyes? You can question the doctor. That's okay. Why do I need to close my eyes?
For comfort.
Comfort.
It might make you tear a little bit.
Okay. If I fall asleep?
Trying to get a handle on this animal. Damn efficient airborne transmission. Blood tests and swabs aren't telling us much. We know it acts like a virus. It causes high fever and respiratory distress. Tracking and treating a mysterious outbreak like this would take the CDC months.
Then we'll have you sit down. Hold up a little bit.
That's it?
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Manchetti and Charlie State.
Our headlines today: tracing systems to find people who come into close contact with those infected with coronavirus begin in England and Scotland this morning.
Ministers hope it will allow the nationwide lockdown to be replaced with localised restrictions, but scientists say it's not a magic bullet.
Anyone who hasn't been exposed already needs to wear a mask.
China. Isn't that where flu viruses come from?
Yeah, a lot of viruses come from there.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate. Yeah, please, John, please. I have great love for all of the people from our country, but as you know, China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen, not as long as I'm president. It comes from China. John, please.
International flight to China?
That's no coincidence. Whatever it is, it originated in China.
In the United States, more than 100,000 people have died from the virus in less than 4 months.
Still waiting for a refund. Thousands of customers are still waiting for that as the worst airlines are named and shamed. They've not had their money back yet. I'll have a look at why not.
Good morning. A busy day then on and off the training pitch for the Premier League clubs. Contact training, including tackling, is allowed again, whilst meetings will be held today as well to discuss a potential date to restart matches.
This is the true story of how a government threatened, manipulated and deliberately terrified its citizens for a bug they knew was no worse than the flu. The government I'm describing is the British government, but I have no doubt that the facts I'm outlining here would fit a number of other countries too. When the coronavirus was first identified, the British government's advisors decided that it was a dangerous infection and they put it into the same general category as rabies, Ebola fever and a few other deadly diseases. But then, on March the 19th, the public health bodies in the UK, together with the government's Advisory Committee on Dangerous Pathogens, decided that the coronavirus should no longer be classified as a, quotes, high consequence infectious disease, close quotes. So they downgraded it and effectively put it back into the same category as the flu.
I was so excited last night I couldn't sleep. I didn't even know what I'm about to announce to you right now, but one of my Hall of Famers closed the deal on Friday where he made $255 million. I hadn't even read that email yet. 255 million large ones. One fucking guy.
Gone through the process of contracting this coronavirus at such an unprecedented and anxious time in all our lives. My wife and I are thinking particularly of all those who have lost their loved ones in such very difficult and abnormal circumstances, and of those having to endure sickness, isolation and loneliness. Contracting this coronavirus.
One guy.
Time is not on our side.
It's like looking for a needle in a needle stack.
We have ruled out all the usual suspects: influenza, SARS, bacterial pneumonia.
How long is it going to take?
Well, it took 34 days to isolate the coronavirus that caused SARS, and that's fast.
I'm authorizing a quarantine on everyone who's come in contact with a symptomatic person.
I thought the black swan could have been the Federal Reserve bubble popping. I thought before oil dropped precipitously, the oil, I didn't know we were going to get some fucking Chinaman fucking virus. But the Chinese virus coupled to coronavirus coupled with the downgrade in oil applies to 95% of all businesses. Indirectly, 100%.
David, I want to thank you for 30 years of tireless work and for your own conviction to fight on. And now I've got one question for you. Where do we begin?
Well, welcome to my world, Brian. And before I say anything, I think what you and your team have done is absolutely magnificent, because the cutting edge, as I know from 30 years of trying to be there, is a very lonely place, and it's the point of the arrow, so there's not many people there. And to do that, to be there, you have to, first of all, have a constantly open mind to information, but you have to have a backbone that won't vibrate.
And again, just as I predicted, 17 of the 20 things President Trump was going to do in his first term of office, 17. There's only 3 things he didn't do. He didn't bomb Iran. He should have. He didn't bomb North Korea. He should have. And he didn't bomb Syria. He should have. I know exactly what he's going to do going forward.
And so if they are going to pull off what we're unfolding now, what we're experiencing now, and they are going to control billions of people, they have to control their perception.
I've been observing events with a shaking head. Throughout these weeks, anyone that protests against lockdown has been accused of killing people. And then suddenly you have people rioting, lots of peaceful protests too. I don't want to tar everyone with the same thing, but you've had this looting and thuggery. Everyone's like together, no social distancing or anything. And these same authorities that imposed a draconian lockdown and banned protests basically against it is now quite okay and supporting the thuggery and the looting.
And it's going to get significantly uglier in the next 6 to 36 months.
I can see there's something not right here.
Enzyme S virus when they were using malaria.
So the chloroquine.
The chloroquine.
This is it. This is your virus.
I'm sorry, but there's no cure for that. Chloroquine, that's an anti-malarial drug.
No. Listen, it suppresses the enzymes.
A lot of good things have come out about the hydroxy. A lot of good things have come out. And you'd be surprised at how many people are taking it, especially the frontline workers, before you catch it. The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it. I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. Right now, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right, I'm not going to get hurt by it. It's been around for 40 years for malaria.
Welcome back, you damn fool. What happened?
We started everyone on chloroquine, stopped the thing dead in its tracks. Now, the CDC would have figured it out eventually, but not in time.
There's got to be